Hello everybody. It's been a while. Damn it, I almost don't even know what to say on these things. Oh, yeah, it's been a good minute, huh? Yeah. I haven't been on YouTube in a bit. I don't really have anything to do, but pretty obvious on these things, so figured, why the hell not? Just got off work. Shit, why not? Get used to this song and have it on a loop. I don't know how long I can take video for or what, but I thought it's been a minute. Thought I'd get into some old habits, you know? Keep me occupied and shit. Stay out of trouble. I'm not gonna lie, I got this song from Teen Titans Go. But I only watch it because it actually, you know, if you pay attention a little bit, they are kind of bringing back the old routine, you know, the old very indirectly. But but everybody knows they diss their own show. They have links and they have leaks and comments, probably hidden links somewhere too if you pay close attention. But literally, they are telling everybody, you know, this is, you know, like when they show like, oh, we need to have fancier jokes or more sophisticated jokes. All right. You know, and they're doing onomatopoeia there, you know, not onomatopoeia, fuck. You know, they're doing their hyperboles. You know, we get that. Well, that's the thing. A lot of people don't get that. What they're trying to do is not necessarily for you, but they're trying to speak in a way that gets kids' attention. You know, they're going to dick around and kind of be fancy for a minute probably, or more sophisticated. I don't know. But it's that little leak, even though they totally they contradict that in the end. You know, the kid's gonna remember the offset, you know, the off-putting things more than the obvious. You know, that's gonna kind of be hitting their brain, and they don't. The thing is, when you're a child, you use the more creative, imaginative part of your brain because you really know nothing. So it's really what you're trying to figure out what could be, you know. You have nothing but time to ponder. I mean, what do you do? Just sit there in a crib all day, legit, or in one of those car seat things. But yeah. That's all you're doing is pondering, you know, trying to figure things out. What are you, you know, that's your learning. And when you get older, it's when that stuff in the back really hits, you know, it's maybe that little bit of that kind of did seep through, you know, like you start off rambunctious child, your parents say, and then over time, because you're watching the world, you know, you're seeing, but you're enjoying getting away with being imaginative because that's all you have. So that's your high at the moment, you know, like if all you have is weed, you're gonna smoke weed. If all you have to do is smoke weed, you know what I'm saying? That's all you're going to do. That's all you're going to want to do. Because that's all you got to do. Now think of that, but being imaginative and creative. You legit, that's why people in isolation, all they have is this imaginative creative part of their brain. However, they're so used to the social connection of society and the standards that is classified as social standards is what they have become used to, their habit, it's called something. It has like an ETH sound, like motif, but it's a niche. The E part, I guess, is what I was thinking. Is kind of close to sh. But, you know, that's become their niche, per se. You know, as far as, you know, who they are, how do they live, you know? And you take that away and they don't really comprehend, like as a comprehend how to be creative in such a state of mind. That's why a lot of, you know, with children, it's healthy for them to be imaginative and creative. That's why they tend to be more, like when they draw pictures, they tend to be more realistic as opposed to, because, you know, art is always going to be, you know, metaphorical to you. You're going to twist it in your perception, whether it be realism or romanticism. Well, I should say whether it be romanticism of bright or dark. That actually makes more sense to say it like that. So whichever aspect of romanticism you choose your art to be, you know, it's going to be that. You know, it's going to be some form of that. But to your perception, of course. You know, that's how they see it. You know, that's why they'll be more realistic, because all they have is this, and nobody seems to be understanding that. But as you get older, you know, it's like, I want to be unique again, like I was. I didn't appreciate that enough, so that I'm going to take that now. It's part of the reason you have your midlife crisis. But unlike a midlife crisis, which happens when you kind of recall what's happening, you know, most of your life when you have a midlife crisis is going to be of when you were so associating with society. But as a child, you know, when you're insane, you go back to this childlike nature, trying to be imaginative in that a sense, but it's become a blend now by your perception with people. So you're going to have these outrageous fantasies probably manifested at, you know, once it gets serious enough, you know, manifested to the point, you know, you're talking to yourself. But instead of it being just an open mind, like as a child, you know, you're so used to this, you know, it's a form of depression. When you're a child, it's natural. It's a form of learning. You're taking it in, you're trying to learn, you're watching, observing, because that's all you can do. That's all you have to do. And that's all you've ever known. That is as well your niche. However, when you're older in a midlife crisis, you know, being a kid, you realize there's some things that really aren't part of your day-to-day life, and that's adjacent to going insane, to a childlike state of mind. The difference between going insane and a midlife crisis is a midlife crisis, you are aware, you have some kind of grip. Yes, you could have suicidal tendencies to some degree. For some people, it's that extreme. But the thing is, you know, it's natural as well. This is a natural insanity. But it's not really natural, if that makes sense. It's natural as far as societal standards, but if we were to live purely healthy, this would never be a thing. You know, we will always have that, I wish I did this differently, but it's not focused at a specific age. Because at a specific age, that's when your brain starts realizing who you want to be and who you need to be. And it's something you kind of just need to ride out. Maybe do some of the small, cheaper aspects of what you wish you could have done, unless it's one big thing you wish you could have done, then, you know, shit, go out and do it, probably, if it's within reason. But, you know, feed it a little, but just enough to kind of cool yourself down. Because like I said, it's not necessarily natural, but it's natural by today's standards of living. And the fact that it occurs at a specific age, to some degree, we're always going to have that. I wish I could have done this differently. I wish I held on to this longer. Because it's at this age you realize half of your life has gone by. So midlife crisis, hence midway, is about half of your life has gone over, and you realize how fast it's gone. You realize how much time you really have. Does that make sense? So it's not even the fact that you wish you could be a kid again and have no responsibilities because you hate being a grown-up. It's not because you're not mature to accept that reality, because you're going to have that reality regardless of what era you're living from, whether you had today's standards of living, medieval times standards of living, or even Native Americans standards of living. They're fucking Indians, alright? I mean, I would consider that more offensive, because not on top, I mean, yes, it sounds a little bit more sophisticated, but I'm Mexican. He's Asian, you know, Hispanic. It's a fucking suggestion on a paper. Wouldn't that, I mean, an Indian is what they are. A Mexican is what an Asian is what, you know, actually a Mexican is not really how that works. What I don't get, no, Indians would technically count as Caucasian, so still, I could, you know, Indian would be like, calling somebody Indian would be like calling me a Mexican, in that a sense, actually. How is that really offensive? It's only offensive because of the gestures it's been associated with. And so, I mean, you know, but that's aside the point. But does that make sense? A little bit of what I'm saying. Midlife crisis is one of those, it's really a realization of time. That's why time around a lot of artists, you know, whether they write or draw, you know, whichever, or even if they're a carpenter or a cobbler, or they sell RVs, you know, or mow lawns, it doesn't matter. Whatever that is, they take it, whatever your hobby is, whatever your career is. That's why they say if you pick the job you want, you'll never work a day in your life, because it's a hobby to you, and you gotta associate that it's like a skill that you're getting paid for. You're getting paid to be who you are, but a lot of people take that differently during a midlife crisis. They could have a job they dislike very much. And that's what I get at. If we could live in purely happy, the way we decide, and, you know, the way we want, within reason, of course, maturity and sociability is, you know, when you look at religion, the Ten Commandments, even the Code of Bushido, if you want to take it, I mean, that's actually kind of a spiritual aspect of Japanese culture, actually. The samurai were technically seen as, you could actually see them as more as Buddhism, per se. In that sense, it's a spiritual thing, a spiritual path, not so much a religion to be taken. If you had to be a smartass about what the samurai were, and really truly what they stood for, which was pretty much a religion. Everything they did was with great intent, and that's really what life's about, is your intent. You know, how are you living? What is your intent toward life? And for those of y'all confused with truly what intent means, what I perceive it, it's not necessary, you know, your intent is not necessarily your emotion toward things. I could be happy facade, or sad, mad, something in between facade. It doesn't matter. In that part, everybody grasps. Your intent is your true meaning. What do you seek to gain? What do you really want from this? You know? And I totally fucking forgot what I was talking about. why I don't smoke and have a discussion. But it's the only time I can have a discussion because it's the only time I can focus on one thing. I know we were talking about midlife crisis, but after that, I don't fucking know what we're talking about. So, I'm gonna smoke a wee bit more. And I think I'm actually gonna call this a wrap, actually, because I totally forgot what I was talking about. Gins to shine. Gins to shine. Yeah, that makes sense. Gins to shine. Samantha Wyatt. You. I'm gonna smoke.